Hello,
Hey,
hello. Hi,
hey.
everyone. This is Dave and Roxanne.
Welcome to another episode of
It's
It's
a
a New
new day.
Day,
It's
It's
a
a
new
New You.
you.
If this is the first time you're tuning into our business page, we do these episodes once, twice, sometimes over three times per week. And the goal of this episode is to encourage you, inspire you, that if you had a tough day yesterday, is always a new day to become a new you, to become all that God created you to be.
Yes. So let us know where you're tuning in from. We always love to know how global we are in this community. We are currently right now in Alberta, Calgary, Canada. Um, and yes, let us know.
Yeah, and every time we do these episodes, we always phrase it in a question. And the question today is,
The question today is, what strategy did we use or we used to accomplish big things in a short period of time?
and if you're watching this live or replay, drop a one in the chat if you have something big but you want to accomplish this in a short period of time. What is it, right? Comment, drop the number one if you're excited and you want to crush that goal in a short period of time. And again, this is the exact same strategy we used to pay off $86,000 in consumer debt in 16 months, paid off our mortgage in under 3 years, $550,000 worth of mortgage in under 3 years, and build a very successful, profitable online business in under 5 years. So we're gonna dive in today, and this is, some of you, when you hear this, you'll be like, wow, you'll be like, wow, mind blown. But some of you be like, wow, this is it, right? I thought it was something magical, something, it's something simple, but it's extremely powerful, right?
Yes, I think I will say it's a really simple strategy, but
It's not easy to
it's not
follow.
easy. It's not easy because we're human beings. We like to, you know,
Complicate things.
complicate things. We like to question things. We like to do our own way, right? So that's, but for us, it came very handy for us in 2018, this strategy. In February 2018, we were in our lowest point of our lives, and it really brought us to our knees, really brought us to really like
This is
humbled us to submit that, um our ways didn't work. There must be a different
Yeah,
way,
we
right?
always talked about this. Our turning point was February 2018, and Roxanne prayed this very powerful prayer.
Yes, I asked the Lord to heal our finances, to lead us to the right business, lead us to a solution that can help us get ahead. Because imagine, in 2018, we found ourselves, we receive a letter saying that they
We're
no longer
evicted.
needed us. They evicted us from our home, from our apartment that we're living in. So, but at the time we were building business, we were trying to do something, to have side hustles, and for us receiving that, we realized that our ways are not working. We're not working.
Yeah, and the Lord led us to first to look at ourselves in the mirror. That the opportunities, all the incomes out there
Hmm.
are not the problem. We are the problem.
Yes.
We have to look at ourselves and take 100% responsibility of our success and failure. That
Hmm.
we caused ourselves to be in $86,000 in consumer debt.
Yeah.
But what we needed was this. So, what is the simple strategy that will allow you to accomplish big things in short period of time?
Hmm.
What is it? It's very sick and simple, and it's called this. This is called the baby steps. You cannot build an empire in one day.
Hmm.
You gotta take baby steps towards it, right?
Yeah.
And for us, for example, right, we were in $86,000 in consumer debt. We could not get out of debt in such a short period of time if we focus on a lot of things, right? We have to take baby steps, step by steps on how to get out of that. And for us, again, we talked about this many times. We were led to the baby steps of Dave Ramsey. And if you haven't heard us talk about this before, but we just show you quickly what allowed us to this simple baby steps. It's so sickeningly
Hmm.
simple, but the question is, can you follow, right? So baby steps. You're like, oh, baby steps. Oh, Dave. I've heard this concept before, but if you're in debt, for example, right, you have to follow baby steps. And here's the key: in order to make the baby steps or any baby step successful, first of all, you have to follow a proven principle,
Yeah.
right? Which means that which means that you have to surrender what's not working, right? If you did your stuff for the last 10, 15, 20 years and you're in debt or you don't have any savings, then you got to accept that your strategy does not work. And you have to find a proven principle that help. And this exact baby steps have helped, 10 million people, to be exact, over 10 million people, to get out of debt and build wealth, what we call baby step millionaires. So we had to say, even though I was a financial advisor, but after 10 years of doing our own finances, Roxana and I, we were in $86,000 in consumer debt. So I had to humble myself and says, it doesn't work. So first is find a proven system. And so why does the baby steps work in building anything in a short period of time? Because it allows you to focus, right?
Yeah, it allows you to, to focus on one thing. I remember, when we started this journey of baby steps, of deciding and committing that, what, we're in debt, we have to get out from this, right? So we stop all investing our savings and all that, and we just, hone into like, okay, step one, do we have $1,000, right? So we save that right away, right? We sold, everything that we can see that we don't, use, right? So that we can save up. Step number two is to pay off all debts. So for us, it took us, I think, for us 16 months to pay off all 86,000 of consumer debts. But most of the time it takes about 18 to 24 months if, if you're coming, if you have your job, right? For us, we have our job and our business to help us, pay off all those debts.
Yeah, and again, the key is to focus on one step at a time. The problem with us
Yeah.
before is we were all over the place. We were
Yeah.
paying off debts, investments, all that kind of stuff.
Where we were planning to buy a home, even
Yeah.
if we were in debt, right?
So think about it. Like, we've been trying to own a home for over 10 years, but we can't even get a deposit. Why? Because we're not focused.
Yeah.
But if you focus on one step at a time, save $1,000 emergency fund, just very short period of time. Again, and number two, pay off that $86,000 in consumer debt. We couldn't move on to step three
Yeah.
if we didn't finish
And
step two. So that is the simple but hard part. A lot of people cannot stay here, but if we can focus and say, you know what, so even though it seems like it slowed us down and everything else, but it's actually faster because we paid that off in 16 months because we only have one focus. When you're laser focused, you can cut through anything, you can finish anything in a short period of time, right? And then step three, save 3 to 6 months emergency fund. And now we're in 4, 5, and 6. In fact, we're now in baby step 7 in under 3 years, total of 5 years journey. But under 3 years, we paid off a home because of the concept of baby steps. Why does it work? This is finances. So if you are struggling in your finances, you need a proven system. Baby steps, Dave Ramsey, we talked about that so many times. So why does it work? Why does baby steps work in accomplishing big things in short period of time? Number one is because of focus. You're focusing on one thing at a time. When you focus, you accomplish that task and then you move on, right? But what does it require of you? What does it require of you to become successful doing any baby steps for any goals you want to accomplish? First is humility, which means that you have to be humble that your system doesn't work, right? Especially if you're in debt. I had to humble myself, even though I was a financial advisor. Every time Roxanne and I would have a budget meeting, I always win because I was older than her. I was a financial advisor. She doesn't know anything. I said, you know what? I humble myself because after 10 years, my system doesn't work. We're in debt. We're at $86,000 in consumer debt. So let's find a system that's proven and let's surrender the old system and submit to the new one. Be humble, right?
Yeah, I think it takes a lot of humility for both of us, for us to, what, let's follow. Let's not question the things that, if people, if thousands of people, actually millions of people have been using the system, right? The baby steps, if they're, if they've, help a lot of people get out of that, right? Then it will happen to us. The hard part is really, being patient, like on the way there, because sometimes, imagine it's a big humongous, 86,000 of consumer debts. You only pay off, let's say, $1,000, $1,000 every single month, or extra 500 there, 500 there. But when the Lord sees your, what you do, you're faithful to it, you're humble, and for some reason, I think couple of months later, that's when more bonuses, more money comes in, because we know how to take care of it.
The
right?
thing about when you're focused on one thing and you don't jump to the step. You just follow the steps that you were given. A lot of other things, side effects, side benefit comes out of it.
Mhm.
You become more patient. You become more resilient. You become more resourceful, right? You do so many other things, right? Because you cannot move to the steps. So your goal is like your mind says, how can I make it faster? How can I
Yeah.
pay off this faster? So you find so many other things, and lo and behold, instead of taking 10 years to pay off 86,000 consumer debt, where you dilly dally in 16 months, it's paid off. That's
Mhm.
the power of baby steps, because it allows you to focus on one thing at a time, right?
Yeah, I remember also because of the baby steps, it helped us be more patient because I remember like they wanted to buy the house, right? Like, like we're in this I think we were in baby step 2 or 3. So we're not really ready to buy a home, right? But he's really excited to buy a home, but you know what? We have to follow the baby steps. We have to be patient, and it take us, I think after 16 months we have to wait because we have to be in baby step 3 for, like we're saving up other things. So, that's when we buy the home in 2021. So 2018, right? So it took about what, 2 years, three
A
years
little bit
before
of
we
delay, yeah.
buy a new home. And then after that, 3 years later, we paid off the home. So
Eh,
even though it's slower in the beginning, it becomes faster when you follow the baby steps.
So the key to make it fast is to
Go
slow it
slow.
down.
Slow
Go
it down.
slow to make it fast, right? And it's kind of a paradox, but it absolutely works in real life, right?
Mhm.
So that's the finances part. But when it here's how I always talk about this to the people that we mentor. When you get good at your personal finance, you get good at your business
Mhm.
automatically, because the same principles of baby steps work in the business,
Mhm.
right? So in fact, we broke it down to our mentorship team, right? That there are also about 7 steps, right,
Mhm.
to finish to build a successful online business. First is, you start the business. You have to have the humility and says, working 2 3 jobs doesn't work,
Mhm.
right? I've been working 2 3 jobs 10 15 20 years. It doesn't work. I'm in debt. I'm not, I'm unhappy in my job. I'm not earning the income that I wanted. First is you have to take a leap of faith. You have to take action and say, you know what, this doesn't work, what I'm doing, and I have to, find an opportunity. And for us, it was the online business.
Yeah.
Start a business on the side. That's the first one. And in that particular business, there are certain steps. For example, the first step is to,
Start
create
your
a
business.
business
Yeah.
page. That's step number 2, right? And after you finish business number 2, then you submit your funnel, which is step 3, which is
Your website.
your website. And then after you have your website, then you launch your ad. That's step
Mhm.
3, right? Now, launching an ad and then generating leads for your business, right? That's 4 and 5. But those 4 and 5, it's like paying off debts, because it might take a while, because it's a skill set now. You're new to doing videos. You don't know what you're doing, right? You're awkward, right? But you gotta stick in the step, because if you don't stick in the step, you now jump on other things, and because you got distracted, you got impatient, right? Then you won't successfully build an online business, because after 4 and 5, right now your ads are generating leads. That's when you start to generate customers for your business, your business partners in your business, right? So it's also a baby steps. You break it down, right?
Mhm.
And this is the exact same strategy we use to build a very, very profitable business, online business, in less than 5 years, in just over 5 years now. So
Yeah, because what happened is that not only you become more humble in the process, but also you become more disciplined.
mhm,
It takes a lot of discipline to focus, to be humble, and to do the work even if there's no results yet. If you know the baby steps, right, and you follow the baby steps, know that even though you don't have the results yet, it will happen,
mhm.
because that is the steps, right? If you follow it, then it will happen. It's just a matter of time and discipline, and really like working even if you don't see the results
Yeah,
yet.
and again, you got to find a proven system that works. Like we found a proven system for our finances. We also found a proven system to build a successful online
Yeah.
business. How do you know it's a proven system? There are results from other people.
Yeah.
Many, not just one. Results. For example, the baby steps. 10 million people went through it and got out of
Yeah.
in the financial part. They got out of debt, and they build wealth. Right? It's proven. The online business is the same thing. It's been around. You know, uh, the supplier that we work with has been around for 50 years, right? And not only that, the proven result. People that are working from anywhere, right? That have
Mhm.
fired their bosses, paid off mortgages, paid off debts in a short period of time because it works, right? So that's that. But then you gotta humble yourself and say, you know what, my system doesn't work. I gotta do this. And then when you're in that, you have to follow the simple steps.
Don't question it, because a lot of people will say sometimes, and it happens to our baby steps in our financial journey as well, and even in the business, that sometimes when you're following the baby steps and you don't see the results yet, you question, maybe it's not for me, maybe there's something different that what they're doing, right? Maybe, our mind will trick you, the enemies will lie at you that it's not working, but it is. You
Mhm.
just have to keep trusting the process, keep trusting the Lord that you are on the right path, because when for us, when we ask for a solution, God led us there.
Yeah, and again, I always talk about this with our mentorship group that the reason why it's not happening yet because your character has to
Yeah.
be refined. It's not what you get is the person you become in the process that God is more interested in because a blessing when it comes to there's only two things that can happen to you. It can either break you or bless you, right?
Mhm.
That's why you're refined in the process because you'll be big enough to handle the weight of the blessing, right? So that you can now become a blessing to others instead of crushing you. And again, this is what happens to people that become instant millionaire overnight, right? That win the lottery, and many of them regret having it 5 years later because they're more than broke, and their life is miserable because they could not handle the weight. But the
Mhm.
gradual growth of you in the process in your business, that's what's required to successfully sustain your business when you have it, right? So um, I hope we give you value. If you're watching this and you're getting value, drop the number one in the chat, live or replay. And but more importantly, if you are going to apply this in your life, whatever it is that you're gonna break it down into steps and stick to the step one step at a time, drop the number two in the chat because we want to see who's gonna apply this. We're excited. We're fired up for 2024. We're breaking down our steps as well. We want to end with a verse usually, and the verse is this.
It's coming from Hebrews 12, verse 11. It says, no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it.
It says, no discipline is pleasant at the moment, but painful, right? Following a step, and you're still stuck in that step
Mhm.
after 18 to 24 months, 86,000. We were like, oh my God, can we start investing now? Can we buy a home? No, we can't move another step
Mhm.
until we pay off all these debts. And so we did. And by slowing ourselves down, our character grew. And then when we had a home, we ended up paying that off in 3 years. And also, it kind of applied in our business because those character traits that was built within us has grown us, right, and has helped us in this business. So again, I hope we gave you value. I hope you can apply this in your life somehow because again, this is very simple, but to be 100% blunt with you all, this is what we used to get to where we are today. And
It's
people,
not complicated.
it's not
It's a
complicated.
simple strategy, but we know it's not easy. It
Yeah,
requires humility, discipline, and focus.
yeah, awesome. Thanks for tuning in. That is another episode of It's
It's
a
a
New
new day.
Day.
It's
It's
a
a
new
new you.
you.
God bless
God bless
everybody.
you. Bye.